What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got some more entitled parent stories which you're gonna love. My mum wouldn't give me my diploma because I didn't give her a rose. My mum was what's known as a covert narcissist. That's where they are super sweet and wonderful whenever someone else is around, but at home their true colours rip through their mask, and they demand that the world revolve around them. Just as a side note, I had a weird upbringing in a cult that I've tried to explain a couple times, but it's so complicated. I couldn't get it concise enough and I had to erase it. I think I will just stick to this one story for now, and if you want to hear more about what my family believed, you can ask any questions in the comments. Even so, this is going to be a long, crazy story, so brace yourself. Part of what we believed required our family to have as many children as possible, and as the oldest daughter, it was my job to take care of them all. I meal planned, cooked, cleaned, and even homeschooled my younger siblings, all while trying to get through my own school books by myself. My mum wouldn't let me study unless all the other housework was done first, so consequently I was behind a lot. I get good grades in everything except math, and one of my tutors even told me I had talent for a particular career. But I told her our religion didn't believe in women working outside the home, but thanked her for the compliment. Oh Jesus. When it came time for me to graduate high school, our church organised a group of us homeschool kids who were all graduating at the same time and put together a ceremony like the ones regular schools have. I was very involved for the first few months. I illustrated a cookbook we were selling and went to all the fundraisers, but after a while I decided I didn't agree with a lot of what the group was doing, and asked my parents if I could pull out of the project and just have a small ceremony at home like we had always talked about. They both heard my reasons and agreed, saying they were proud of my maturity and willingness to stand alone for what was right. The day of the graduation came and we went to support our friends. During the ceremony, each student gave their mother a rose and a hug on stage, and it was very sweet. I had no reason to believe there was anything wrong until we got home. My mum immediately called me back into her room. My dad was standing there, but he wasn't really the leader in our house, so he didn't say anything the whole time. My mum told me she was humiliated when she saw all the other mothers get roses and said I cheated her out of the honor and recognition she deserved for teaching me everything I know. Her exact words were, "A graduation ceremony is not about the students. It's about the teachers and how hard they work to get those students where they are today." I didn't dare contradict her, but in my head I was thinking, what are you talking about? You haven't been my teacher since I was 11. She would always just buy me books and that was it. I had to find time to read them, take tests, and grade myself all on my own. She would even make me take tests over and over until I got an A. With math, that was a lot of trying and failing. I didn't even know the real cutoff for failing a test was a D until I got married and moved out. At the time of this conversation, I still had a couple chapters in my last math book I needed to finish, but a lot of my other homeschool friends said they had the same thing and it was normal. My mum finished by saying, "I just looked at your math book and you still have 2 chapters left to go, so you haven't even earned this yet. Since you denied me the honor I deserve tonight, I will be withholding your diploma also. You don't even need it since you won't be going to college. Just finish your books and you will just be done with school." I tried to remind her that she agreed to let me sit out of the graduation ceremony, but she said, "I know I did, but when I saw how all the other mothers were being honored like that, I realized that wasn't your decision to make, and I felt robbed. It wasn't about you. It was about me as both your mother and your teacher." I asked her to at least not tell anyone that I didn't have a diploma, and she said what she always said when I asked that kind of thing. "If you don't want people to know what you did, don't do it." She dismissed me and I ran to my room and cried. I was embarrassed and worried about what my friends would think if they found out, but I couldn't stay in my room for very long because my mum soon noticed I was gone and called me back downstairs to make dinner. She never approved of anyone being emotional. I went the next 12 years carefully guarding my secret that I didn't have a diploma, and even my husband didn't know until one day my dad called me. He and my mum had gotten a divorce when she left him and all my siblings for another man that year. After the drama settled, the whole family was a lot happier without my mum around, and my dad had been going through all the old files, getting everything in order for their new, free life when he found something he thought I would like to have. It was my diploma and my high school transcript. He sent me a picture of them both and I just broke down crying right there on the phone. He apologized for not standing up for me back then and I told him I understood and forgave him. My mum abused him too and he was just trying to get through life like all of us. He couldn't accept that. He said as my dad it was his job to protect me and he failed. We had a long talk about all the things my mum did to me and I was surprised to hear that my dad was largely unaware of most of them. He got really angry on the phone and kept apologizing for not being more aware and present in my life. He was in the military so he was gone a lot. Okay, that is understandable. It was a wonderful talk and we both cried a ton. He sent me the diploma and the transcript in the mail and I cried again when I finally held them in my hands. I used them to get a job last year at a daycare and it felt amazing. Alright, well if there's one thing this story shows for sure, it's how much one entitled person can ruin so many other people's lives. Obviously your life OP, your dad's life too, and you didn't even get a chance to talk about your siblings. Like I imagine they have some pretty crazy stories themselves. Like as soon as your mum said that your graduation was about her, I was just thinking in my head, what? Sorry, what? Graduation is not about them, it's about you, your accomplishments. Your mother is acting like a toddler having a tantrum, it's nuts. If she was a proper mum, if she was sane even, she would be proud of you. That's how people tend to work, not say, oh my god, I'm so good for raising this person. I mean, come on, get out of here. Moving on to our next story. Knocked unconscious on public transport thanks to an entitled mother. Oh, this is going to be good. For clarification and understanding purposes, I have a medical condition in which my blood circulation is extremely weak. My average resting pulse is at around 45 BPM, okay. When I sleep, it can go down to 30 BPS, endangering my life, wow. When I am physically active, not resting, etc., my pulse rises to around 60 BPM. A pulse of 70 beats per minute for me is like 130 for someone with a normal or healthy blood circulation, so I pass out extremely easily. Therefore, I need to be super careful about my movements, actions and stuff, or else I will get knocked unconscious in seconds of just standing up. Yeah, so if you guys don't know much about heart rates, my resting heart rate, so when I'm asleep or when I just wake up, is around 55, 54 BPM. Exceptional long distance athletes can have a resting heart rate of lower than 40 BPM. This person's can go down to 30. That is dangerous. I never thought I'd encounter an entitled parent myself, but unfortunately I did yesterday. Yeah, see, that's what everyone thinks until they actually meet one themselves. It was around 8:30 in the morning. I was riding the bus to university. So I sit there on the bus listening to music, minding my own business, when all of a sudden someone taps me on the arm. "Excuse me, young man, could you please get up? This is my son's favorite spot on the bus," the entitled ma said. I replied, "What? I'm sorry, but I need this place. Come on, there's plenty of room for you to stand up. Just get up and give us the spot." "I really can't. I'm sorry. If I get up now, I will." Just get up. You seem fine. Nothing's wrong with you. You're just lazy and don't want to stand. While I'm trying to explain to this entitled mum that I have a certain condition in which I need to be careful about my movements because my pulse and circulation is so extremely weak and fragile, she keeps on screaming about how I was stealing her son's happiness and how lazy I am for not standing up for a mother and her child. I was feeling my pulse rising because of the arguments and stress this lady was causing me, and I got extremely anxious. I didn't want to pass out on public transport. Her son looked really uncomfortable throughout this whole argument and at one point tried to tell his entitled mum to just leave me alone. The rest of the bus, of course, caught attention to the situation. All of a sudden, the entitled mum grabbed my hand and tried to take my pulse. "Your pulse seems fine. What's wrong with you? Why can't you just stand up?" Her grip was so firm it left marks of her nails on my skin. She pulled me out of the seat, leaving me standing on the bus with an already way too high pulse for me and my condition. I tried to walk a few steps to find something to hold on to so I wouldn't fall, but it was already too late anyway, and I fell to the ground, getting unconscious in the middle of a bus. Oh god. What happened after that, I don't quite know. I got conscious laying wrapped up in a blanket on the pavement, surrounded by paramedics, the police, and the bus driver. They explained to me what had happened while I was gone. The police took statements from the entitled mum, some other people on the bus, and the bus driver, and took the entitled mum into custody. They asked me if I wanted to give a statement now or later when I recovered, and if I wanted to press charges for assault. And of course, I did. I absolutely did. All I heard from her after I woke up was just screaming in disbelief and crying. So far, I'm sure that the entitled mum's health insurance company will have to pay for the ambulance, paramedics, and other following medical bills. All public transport for this specific line was forced to stop for 3 hours just because an entitled mother didn't get what she wanted. Currently, I'm in hospital under supervision. I'll be released once they're sure my pulse and circulation is a little stronger. They know they can't cure it, but they said they will try to make me at least a little more stable. Well, that is great to hear that you are making a statement and can press charges. I feel like if more people like you press charges, maybe some of these idiots would actually think before doing something so stupid. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm on public transport, it is the dumb thing to give up your seat for someone who needs it more than you. A mum, a child, an elderly person, a disabled person, something like that. However, you don't have to do it. I mean, if an elderly person came on and wanted my seats, I wouldn't be obliged to give it to them. It's not the law. So first of all, even if you were completely healthy, you wouldn't have had to get up. But also, if you are an elderly person or a mum with a child, you can't just say to someone, give me your seat. It's not how it works. And it's even worse in this situation when she just says, give me your seat, and doesn't even ask if you have any sort of problems or even let you speak before grabbing your arm. I don't know, man. People like this just annoy me. Anyway, guys, that is going to be the end of this episode of r/Entitled Parents on my channel. I really hope you did enjoy it. If you did, like this video, drop your comments down below, and also subscribe if you haven't already for daily Reddit content on my channel. Also, if you want more immediately, click the playlist on screen for all of my Entitled Parents videos ever. Go through them all. They're about, I don't know, 100 and something, 170? Maybe I've overestimated that, I'm not sure, but if you have the time, go on, binge watch all of them. Give me that sweet, sweet watch time. With that being said, I will see you guys all tomorrow with a brand new video on my channel.